Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Daggy again, back with yet another Disney Lorcana video. And in today's video, I teamed up with Mike and Nicole from Instinct TCG and Collectibles, and we decided to talk about 4 of the more recent cards revealed for Disney Lorcana. And I brought them in to get their thoughts and opinions because they have played a ton of games. And they definitely know their stuff. And, you know, talking with other people about cards can be quite fun. So the segment where we talk about the cards is from a much larger segment. So in this video, it's mostly just us discussing these 4 cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to transition into us, beginning to talk about those cards. But what I do know is that there were 4 cards shown at the same time, and I actually wanted to kind of discuss them. Now, we have a lot of cards. There are a lot of cards shown, but these 4 were, put together at the same time, and I was like, we could talk about all of them, but that could take forever because there's the 4, 5, 6. There's like 7 cards. So I thought we could just discuss the 4 of the newer cards. Just wanted to get your guys' expert opinions on. Well, we'll talk about Zeus first, and I'm gonna put the images. So I'm gonna edit this, of course, but I'm gonna put the image here on the screen because I don't really do Spotify or anything, but. So if you're unfamiliar, if you need a refresher, Zeus is the 4-cost Amethyst card, but he's not inkable, so you can't put him into your inkwell. And he has 0 strength, 4 willpower, and he does quest for 2 lore. And he has 2 abilities. One, of course, is Rush, which is, its own thing. That's really good. But he also has Challenger plus 4, so he's a Rusher and a Challenger. He's a monster. And he's also rare. So, it's not bad. He's obtainable. He's, rare. Now, I have my opinions, but I'm really interested. If you guys have played him at all, what are your opinions on this Zeus?
I don't think we've tried him yet.
We haven't tried him yet. Again, because he's uninkable, that always tends to steer me away from using it. Now, Rush and Challenger plus 4 on their own is very good. Plus, the 2 lore is a nice cherry on top.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try him out. Unfortunately, we haven't tried. I think he'd be okay. Maybe at a 2 up.
I would say if I had to pick between him and Rafiki, I would pick Rafiki any day of the week.
Same. I agree there. That's why I think a 2 max.
Yeah.
Because he's almost like a Dr. Facilier, but kind of on steroids.
Yeah.
But the two lore is quite nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use the rush ability. You can just play him and then sit on him for a turn, and then use him the following turn.
Yeah.
But again, but you're right. Rafiki is better because he's a permanent 3 attack.
Rafiki, you'd want to use him for his rush ability, whereas Zeus, you can use him for his rush, but once he's exerted, he's also a very big target for your opponent.
Oh, absolutely.
And, doing 0 damage, that's something
why,
your opponent doesn't really have to worry about.
No, I personally don't think he'll be seeing a lot of play. I personally would steer away from him because, like Nicole's saying, I agree. I think Rafiki's a better character to play, and he's a 3-cost instead of a 4.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be playing him based on his rush, Rafiki's just overall better because for sure 3 attack character. Whereas
even if he's exerted, your opponent still will take that 3 attack hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think so. If we compare him to say Dr. Facilier, the only, not say only, but Dr. Facilier has the strength, or a con. No, he's a little better over Zeus because he could be played in a Stitch deck and he could be played exerted, and he has 4 willpower when he's exerted, and your opponent's they have to devote some resources to remove that. Whereas, Zeus does come down later. I can say he is pretty solid if your opponent plays a turn 3 Elsa, or you play a turn 3 Elsa, and then on your next turn, you can exert something that really needs to get hit, and then you can play Zeus, and then do that. But I do think that's a specific interaction. I do agree with both of you that, unfortunately, as of right now, I do think Rafiki is just better in almost every regard.
Yes.
It's the whole, turn 3. Now Rafiki is a turn 3 card, and if you're playing Amethyst or against Amethyst, I noticed that a lot of people, when they hit turn 3, they want to play a 3-cost character because they want to follow it up with a Friends from the Other Side on their next turn, because you can sing it for free, and it's really good value. Now, Rafiki, though, if you quest with your 2-cost character, which at most probably has 2 attack or 2 strength, and then your opponent plays Rafiki, they're gonna have Rafiki, into your 2-cost character. Your 2-cost character is gone. Rafiki is now still on the field, and yes, now if you have to challenge it, you're probably gonna lose another character. So now Rafiki has done a 2-for-1. Zeus very rarely does a 2-for-1. I've tried them, but I do think that Rafiki is just better.
Yes. Oh, you're absolutely right. He's better in absolutely every way.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because the biggest downfall for Zeus is that he's uninkable. If he was inkable, you could at least try to splash him.
Yep.
But because he's uninkable, just Rafiki is a clear-cut winner between the two of them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, unless there's something, in the future, but I mean, if I'm gonna run another uninkable in an Amethyst deck, because I might also be running the 1-cost Maleficent, I don't think I'm gonna be running Zeus. I would much rather run Rafiki, and also he is a little cheaper, so that does kind of help with your curve. You don't have to really devote as much resources. I mean, I've had Zeus. I've played Zeus. I've had Zeus played against me, and he never 2-for-1s. Like, I mean, best case, you might be able to, like, if your opponent had played like a beast on their previous turn or whatever, they exerted it, you could then run your Zeus into that beast, but at that point you can probably just use Rafiki for the same effect. But yeah, I'm not crazy about him. I do also think that Rafiki is uncommon, so it's a little easier to obtain. Even better.
Yeah.
Rafiki actually reminds me, there was a card in Duel Masters, I totally forget its name, but it was also 3-cost, and it had Rush, essentially. And in Duel Masters, you had to break your opponent's shields, and if you could just drop a character and then just instantly break a shield, that was really good. So, and I could see Rafiki being like that character. So, if you have a good board condition, like you're winning, and you can take out one of your opponent's threats with like an Elsa, then you can quest on your next turn or whatever. That's pretty good, but I do think you're going to have some sort of setup for that, but, I'm not crazy, so he's cool. His foil looks good. I'll give him that. The foil Zeus with the lightning.
His artwork looks really nice.
His artwork is good. Like, at the very least, what they should have done is he should have had 2 strength and Challenger +2. At least that way, you're always doing
some damage,
even on his turn.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a Dr. Facilier 0 strength, it's just kind of unfortunate. Like, I understand the whole movie theme behind it, where once he runs out of Thunderbolts, he has no power, like in the Hercules movie, which I think is awesome that Disney does that, these kind of references in their card game. But it unfortunately just makes Zeus not a very good card.
Yeah. It's again, unless we see something, but I highly doubt it. So, sorry Zeus, he's cool art, but
sorry. You'll be cool in the binder.
That's exactly right. He's a good binder card. So, all right. So we're gonna save the best for last. Let's talk about an inkable card now. Let's talk about. I'm really interested in Peter Pan. Now, Peter Pan here he is an emerald card. We don't have a ton of emerald cards, so it's nice to see a Peter Pan. And as a refresher, he does cost 3 resources or 3 ink, and he is inkable. So you can put it down there into your inkwell. He has 3 strength, 2 willpower, and he does quest for 1 lore, and he has evasive, and he's also a common. But have you guys played this Peter Pan at all?
We actually have used Peter Pan.
Yeah, we've used Peter Pan, and you know what? I'll be the first one to admit I didn't think he was all that good until he was used against me, and let's just say he is very good.
I will say that 2 willpower, it makes him susceptible to like fire the cannons.
But I think that's why they kind of tried to make him fair.
Yeah, with that evasive, making it hard to challenge into him. I really like his artwork as well. I think it looks really nice. Yeah. I'm really interested to see how that looks like with the foil.
Will there be a foil? I guess there will.
I think every card
will.
Yeah, every card can have a foil. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I think that would be really cool. And I also do like the fact that if someone does challenge into him, they also take 3 damage back.
That's huge.
Which in most cases, that probably would get them knocked out as well.
But that's what makes Peter Pan so good, is that if you want to quest with him, he's safe. But if you want to use him in an attacking manner to take something else, like a Cheshire Cat on the opponent's side, he's got 3 strength, which makes him very, very good, especially for a 3 cost.
Yeah, but for turn 3 Emerald, would you play Peter Pan over a Cheshire Cat?
Absolutely.
Yes
It depends on your situation. Depends on your opponent's board state. Maybe not if they don't have much of a board, then you obviously go with Cheshire Cat for the 2 lure.
Yeah.
But if they are developing a board and you kind of want to stop them, or you want to put something that can
or gain consistent war without them being able to.
He's always a good option. Peter Pan is a very good option for Emerald now.
Yeah.
We finally got something evasive.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah, it's another evasive, and it's evasive in a different color. So now we have 3 colors, I think, that have the evasive, trait or keyword, not trait, but evasive keyword. So I hope that we might see it in the other 3 colors as well. So I've actually steered away from Emerald in my playtesting because that's not true. I did play Emerald and Amethyst, and I was like, I'm going to play Genie with the card draw and see how that goes. And this is when Genie came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this deck is unbelievable. And it's
it is. We've really enjoyed playing with that.
Genie is Well, okay, we should be talking about Genie, but Genie is really good as well.
Genie. I would argue like a Genie is the best card shown right now, and I thought it was Ruby Aladdin, but if you could shift Ruby Aladdin and get the hit off, I think that's so impactful. But Genie is just played. Your opponent loses a character, and now they have to play it again. He can quest, and he's just bonkers. But I didn't play this Peter Pan personally. My 3 drops were actually more so for like the 3 cost Maleficent. I actually liked the cat. I played the cat instead, and like maybe the wardrobe. Because Steel's pretty popular. People really do like Steel, and Peter Pan is a huge target for that Fire the Cannons. But in an Amethyst Emerald deck, he is super good for like singing friends on the other side, because your opponent's probably not going to touch him. There's nothing they can do about it. At least,
but at the same time, being a target for the Fire the Cannons is also not a bad thing, because you're forcing your opponent to use those Fire the Cannons on Peter Pan. That will probably essentially keep your other characters a bit safe from removal.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, if you have like some like early game, you can have early game Maleficent or like a Pascal or something, and your opponent's like, oh no, I need to get rid of this Peter Pan, because the 3 strength is very respectable. He's at the very least, he quests for 1, which is fine. Like that's for 3 costs, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if I had to play this or the cat, like if my opponent had like nothing on the field, I almost would rather play the cat. Or if they're playing Steel, I would probably play the cat. The cat can quest for 2 lore, which is really good. And if my opponent wants to stop it, they either have to use a character and to get rid of them, or have to use like, I don't know, a low cost character with 2 or 1 strength, and then use like Fire the Cannons.
This is also an earlier like solution to Pascal as well. If you see your opponent like in that game that I played against you, where I had 2 or 3 Pascals on the board,
he can at least take out 2 of them.
Yes, I think he is a very good, actually like good counter to Pascal. If you're not playing Steel, then you can play this Peter Pan, and I think Pascal definitely needs to be dealt with. Especially if you have like 2. I have done just today. Was it today? I had a 3 Pascal game where like turn 2, I had 3 Pascals. I was like, thanks game, and that was it. Like
Wow.
So it just happens. It happens.
I've lived through that. You can't do anything about it, unfortunately.
But this Peter Pan can help. So I wonder if we actually might see some like another early game, invasive character. So that way either
I hope so.
Peter Pan can challenge it, or it can challenge Peter Pan. I don't know. It is nice to see it in Emerald, because maybe each color gets only 1 evasive. Who knows? But at the very least, you could put them in your deck to counter those other decks that do run evasive characters. But he's also common, so that's pretty solid. I think the Steamboat Mickey is also common, and they share the same cost. I think the cat though is rare. No, he's uncommon. Okay. The cat is uncommon. So
Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, so they're easy to obtain, I guess, which is nice, and I think that's something nice to look into. So, I think he's a solid card. I do think he's pretty good. It's just that I'm worried that at the 3 cost, there's a lot of other cards that are really good at the 3 cost, and he's going to have to either fight for a spot, or if the metagame shapes up that evasive is like the king, well, then you can throw in Peter Pan.
Yeah, because I think for me, I probably would pick Peter Pan over the wardrobe or the Steamboat Mickey. Yeah. Personally, I would, because I like that evasive option. Yeah, his stat line isn't as strong. Like, he has, I believe it'll be 2 willpower less, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're 3 4s, right?
3 4s, yeah.
But I think that evasive keyword is pretty important, with at least with the card pool we currently have.
I mean, with Amethyst Emerald, you're seeing a lot of 3 drops. You got Steamboat Mickey, you've got the Wardrobe, you've got Maleficent, you've got Friends on the other side.
But playing an Emerald Amethyst, like Adam was just saying, if you were to sing a song with him, you know for sure, unless the other opponent has another evasive character to take you out, you can safely sing a song and not have to worry about him being banished.
Yeah. Very
true. Yeah, and see, he's very good. Like, I honestly feel like he has more upsides than downsides, where his only downside is he dies to fire the cannons, but that's also not fair to say in that regard, because a lot of characters die to fire the cannons. But maybe it's a strength saying, hey, the only thing that can take him out early is this one card in this one color. That might be pretty good, So I could see him being played for sure. I think he's a very solid, a solid common, and I think people are going to put him in the deck, whatever they play, because, he's pretty good. Sure. Pretty good, pretty solid. Yeah. But again, I'm just worried about that 3 slot, and but he is inkable, so at the very least you could be like, nah, I don't need him right now, and just toss him in the ink. So
yeah, you're absolutely right, because there are a lot of 3, like the Maleficent to draw card is also another card it's kind of competing with.
Rafiki too, it's, I mean, technically you can play Rafiki, whatever. But I mean, a turn 3 Rafiki is almost game impactful, because you can take out a 2 cost at quested or a 1 cost at quested, and it takes that mouse out. He's really good. He's such a good card.
That rush keyword makes it so good, because it kind of catches your opponent off guard. It makes them have to be worried about a Rafiki coming out.
That's exactly right. If you see your opponent like inks like a turn 1 like Archimedes, you're like, oh my gosh, they could have a Rafiki in their hand. You're like, no, what am I gonna, what am I gonna do? So, yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a thing. So, all right, Peter Pan, you're not too bad. Now we have 2 cards left. Now this one's very interesting. This next one, I want to talk about Ariel, Who's It Collector. Now this Ariel, just like Zeus, she is a 4 cost, but she's Sapphire. And she's not inkable, so you can't place her into your inkwell. She has 3 strength, 3 willpower, and she does quest for 1 lore. I'll just say real quick, she is a rare, so, not bad. But her ability isn't too bad. It's called Look at This Stuff, and it says whenever you play an item, you may ready this character. She's also a princess, just because that actually could matter in a princess deck. But what do you guys think? What do you think about this Ariel right now?
I don't think we've tried her yet.
Don't think we tried her. I think she will be like Zeus for me. She'll be a binder card, and for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the first is, like you mentioned, she's uninkable. Yeah. Her stat line's okay. Like, her stat line for a 4 cost is 3/3, so it's really nothing special. Her lore, again, 1. Nothing special for a 4 cost, and even her ability where you have to play an item to ready her, to me, isn't that impactful. For Sapphire, I look at Sapphire, I think ramp.
Yeah.
And when I think ramp, I think 4 Mickey Mouses that are uninkable, and I think 4 of that item, one jump ahead, that are also uninkable. So that really doesn't leave much space in your deck for another uninkable card. That is Ariel, unfortunately.
And I think a part of any card game is you have to find decks that fit your playstyle, and I don't see you abusing those items. I don't think that's really the way you rather play.
But they could. But in the next 100 cards for the set, there could be some really good items.
Yeah.
But currently in Sapphire,
you prefer aggro.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what Sapphire is best known for at this current moment, is the ramp. And unfortunately, she doesn't fit into that sort of play style.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can change your mind if I use Ariel to quest like 4 times a turn.
Yeah.
But for Princess, she could potentially be good in Princess.
She could slot into a Princess deck, Amber, Sapphire.
Yeah, she could have a spot there. But even then, there's other options that are better though.
Or I've seen people in the Discord as well, building like an item slingers deck with Maurice and Belle.
Yeah.
Fueling that. So I mean, there is a lot of potential there. But yeah, the fact that she's uninkable, I don't know.
The stat line isn't that strong.
Yeah.
She only quests for 1. It's to me.
Well, she quests for 1 if you don't have more items in hand.
Can you quest twice? Like,
yes, you can. You can quest like as long as you keep playing items.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is enough. You can abuse it.
Yeah, especially with Moana's ability as well, and more princesses on the field.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. There is potential for sure.
Potential. It's just the fact that she's uninkable. But there's a lot of cards in Sapphire, Amber, that princess deck that you can ink.
Yeah, we need more items, I think. To make it viable.
So we've got Coconut Basket, Dingle Hopper.
Yeah, if you played Sapphire Amber,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think she is going to be like a focal point of like a combo heavy deck. Just like you had mentioned with, I know people were talking about in the Discord, with Maurice, and you also have the 3-cost Belle. Those, you can play items cheaper.
For what it costs.
Yep. And then you quest with Ariel, play the item, ready her, quest again, It does take a bit of setup is the downside. So, but yeah, we probably do need to see some more items, but I do see some potential here. I do think she could probably gain a lot. Also, and I forget who it was. I think it was Jordy in the chat. I'm not sure how you say his name. So apologies if he ever listens, but he mentioned if you use Mulan and Mulan banishes a character, then this Ariel would gain 1 extra lore before she goes crazy and starts questing. So you could possibly
that could be dangerous.
If you have Maurice on the field as well, you can even play an item for free.
Okay, but we gotta remember that Maurice is a 6 cost. The setup required to get to that point is a lot. And if you're facing a Stitchball deck, think about what Stitchball can do by turn 6.
Yeah. It definitely depends on what your opponent's playing.
Absolutely.
But that's any deck, really.
But you're right. If they do release some more items in Sapphire, or even Amber,
or in all of the. I mean, do we have any items in Emerald? I don't think so.
Not yet. No Emerald or Ruby. We got a couple in Steel.
In Ruby, I don't think we have any items in Ruby either.
No, not yet.
We're still missing like a lot.
Because to make that deck viable, like that Mulan combo, that could have a lot of potential, but they need some more items to make it.
Yeah,
an actual viable combo.
Card draw and there's a lot, because I mean you could turn 4 Ariel, turn 5 Mulan, turn 6 Maurice, and then you're gonna have to wait a turn to quest with Maurice, and who knows what your opponent is doing during all this time. You're just gonna be like, could you wait a little bit? I really want to get this to work. But,
can you put that Stitch in the back seat for a little bit?
Right.
One more turn.
Yeah. Don't quest, please. I just, but it shows that there is some sort of like combo in here. There is it's not just I'm going to be challenging or I'm just going to be questing. There's actually a thing where several cards can work together to maybe have this really explosive turn, kind of like villains with Hades. It's very similar, where you want to get those villains in play, and then you're like, bam, here's my Hades, I'm questing for 8 lore this turn. It's rewarding. So we'll see, but we probably do need to see some more items to really make it work. And I don't know. I think it's.
And I think it depends on how good the items are as well. I think the Coconut Basket is actually quite a good card.
Yes.
It's actually a very good card. So if we could see some high quality caliber items, that could definitely make it viable.
Yep. Hopefully in Ruby, because I actually do like the idea of using a Mulan, banish something, Ariel has 2 lore. Now you can just get 2 lore, ready her, get 2 more lore, and it's just, I think that's a higher reward. So it's you have to play less items because you don't have to ready her as much, I guess. You don't have to play 2 items to gain 2 lore. You just play 1 item because she already has 2 lore. So I don't know. I like the idea, but I don't think she's going to see play right now in our little 100 card, meta game we have going on, but we'll see. She's definitely gone to.
Yeah, she has potential.
Yeah,
I agree. She's got lots of potential.
I think it might be fun. definitely. But maybe she could even be a card that gets stronger later, like in other sets when we have different items. But
yeah, a bigger card pool of items and whatnot.
Yeah, being uninkable is a little rough too, because it's like, well, you probably want to run 4 of her to make sure you get her, and it's like, what if she clogs your hand? You know, what are you gonna do? So I don't know.
Exactly.
She's all right.
And then in decks where there's a lot of other uninkable cards, it's a matter of, would you rather have this Ariel, or would you rather have, like in the Sapphire Steel, would you rather have that or a Captain Hook and all of the Fire the Cannon?
Exactly.
Like, you have to prioritize what you prefer.
Yeah. It'll definitely depend on the meta game at the time, I think.
Yeah. We'll have to. The first set's going to be very interesting. I can't wait for the second, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I have my thoughts, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So. But you know who does help with uninkable cards in your hand? It's Simba. Simba, who's the 4th card I wanted to talk about today, probably the last one. But Simba, who's also shown in that group. He's a steel card. He only costs 1 ink, but he is inkable. He has 1 strength, 2 willpower, and he quests for 1 lore. He has 1 ability. It's called Guess What? And it says, when you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. And he is also a common with all these effects. Like, have you guys played Simba?
Oh,
you've used him a couple of times.
Absolutely. 4 of in any steel deck, in my personal opinion, because for steel, like we just mentioned, there are a lot for steel at the current moment. You play 4 hooks usually, and for sure 4 Fire the Cannons.
Yeah.
And if the hooks are clogging your hand because you're not seeing Fire the Cannons, this is a good way of sort of drawing a card and then choosing your best avenue after that.
I mean, I have a question for both of you because I've seen this be debated online.
Mm-hmm.
So for steel, what's your ideal 1-drop? You've got Goons, you've got Captain Hook, you got Fire the Cannons. What are you? And now Simba. So what are you picking? Do you drop Goons?
If it's turn 1, I'm dropping Simba first to go through your deck to see. Because if turn 1 play, you're gonna play Simba and you're gonna have a Nink face down. So that means you're gonna have 5 cards in hand.
So if you had to cut a 1-drop steel from your deck, you'd cut a Goons or a Captain Hook?
I would probably cut a Goons. I'd probably cut a Goons because I like that Challenger +2.
Yeah. Ideally, you probably would you would want to play something on your first turn in steel, if you get to go first, and then if your opponent plays a 1-drop character, you could probably just hit it with Fire the Cannons and then quest with whoever you dropped, unless it's Pascal or not Pascal. I mean Olaf. Olaf's like, nah, this is fine because he has 3 willpower. He can take the Fire the Cannons, so it's very frustrating. But you could just turn 1 almost anyone. And then on your following turn, you could play somebody else, a 1 cost, Fire the Cannons, go about your day, you know. So
I think the card draw for steel it makes it so good because you're going through your deck quicker. So you're almost like you're trying to draw into that beast mirror, or you're trying to draw into whatever else you need, a smash or a Fire the Cannons or a hook, whatever you're looking for.
I will say I did find in one of our gameplays, I did find one scenario where it's a bit annoying. It's when you're late game and you're top decking and you play Simba, you draw a card and you immediately discard it.
Yeah. I mean that's part of the game, right? But you're not playing it for that late game. You're playing it for the early game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely helps finding key components. Yeah, like finding that beast mirror, or maybe you're trying to find that 4-cost Captain Hook, or whatever the reason. Simba can definitely help, and I do think he's probably strongest in those first couple turns. I do find myself out ink because I played him quite a bit because I really fell in love with Sapphire and Steel. So I was really trying to find those ramp cards or get to those really good cards. Dropping Simba and being like, okay, I can ditch something in my hand, or I can draw a card, and if it's not beneficial, I'll just go ahead and get rid of it.
I think there's going to be another Simba that's going to be able to shift up from this one as well. And at some point, there has to be a bigger Simba that can shift. And I think that's why
they put the cover.
I think so.
This artwork, the Simba card, is phenomenal. The rock in the background with the Simba thing that Rafiki made in the movie.
The holo looks good.
Yeah, they're
so good.
Some of these artists are just I mean, I like all the art. I'm they're all good, but some of these are just really eye-catching, and just really good. Simba's definitely one of them. When I saw him, I was like, wow, That's really well done. Simba also helps in decks, so ideally, like, per data, you know, and like if you would draw your cards and stuff, 12 uninkable cards in a 60-card deck is ideal, because you're not going to have them necessarily cluttering up your hand. You still might, there's still RNG, but you still have like an 75 or 80% chance or something of having a starting hand, you know, or whatever, of inkable cards so you can play the game. I think Simba actually helps you run a little bit more because he's so cheap to play. You could always just ink something and play Simba and then get rid of, you know, an uninkable card in your hand, so you can then actually ink something if you need to help keep your curve going.
I agree. And again, he also facilitates with that beast mirror, because sometimes you can't get rid of those uninkable cards and you're trying to get rid of your hand so that you can abuse beast mirror. And he's a good way of playing him. And you get rid of that uninkable card, and then maybe all of a sudden now you have no cards in hand, and you can sort of abuse Beast Mirror.
I mean, you could have used him in that early game where you had three dragon fights.
Yes, absolutely, yeah,
that's
for sure. Because then you're drawing more cards, and you're getting rid of the cards that are just clogging your hand.
Yeah,
just in time, right? I've done some Amber and Steel because I like the idea. I really like the idea of using just in time and putting in a big drop character earlier. But sometimes you're going to have a couple copies of Just in Time in your hand. And, like, I have used Just in Time on, like, Amber. Yeah, not Amber. Like, to get rid of them, I've honestly used, like, a Just in Time to put in, like, a 3-cost card. Because what else am I going to do with it? Because you have nothing else in your hand. It's just going to sit there.
Exactly.
I'm like,
it's the worst.
But then you have Simba now. So at least Simba's like, okay. Because now with Simba, this is like card draw. So even if you, I guess in a weird way, if you do draw Simba later, if you're holding this card, you're like, well, Simba can ditch this card for me, and now I can get an extra card. Thank you, Simba. So that's not bad. He can help with the higher cost, like uninkables. Because there's stuff like, if you want to play Amber, Lantern is super good. I mean, just multiple Lanterns you can play some characters for free.
Yeah,
it's uninkable, so it's like, okay, well.
But the thing about Lanterns, it's gonna get your for Stitch decks. Turn 3, you have a Rockstar Stitch.
Yeah. And then the good thing about having those items is that Beast is the only one who can get rid of them.
So far.
Yeah.
I wonder if he might be the only one, but yeah, I've been adding that Beast to my Steel decks because there are so many items being played, like Beast Mirror. And Lanterns, and oddly enough, people are playing Magic Mirror. Like, seriously.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
Oh really?
Yeah. It's not bad. You know,
Yeah.
It's like
it's just not Beast Mirror.
but sometimes you get to like a later stage in the game, and you could be sitting on, 7, 8 resources, 9 ink, and because some games are really close. You guys are trading, and you guys might only have like one person has 11 lore, or the other person has like 12. It's like you're not going anywhere. Board's almost empty. Magic Mirror's like, well, I'm gonna draw some extra cards here, and give me a little bit of edge. So it's not terrible, but it's also uninkable. But I don't know. But I do like Simba, and it's crazy that he's only a common. This is a really good effect for a common. I think Tinkerbell's also common. I know she's a promo as well. I don't remember.
I'm actually looking into that as we speak right now.
I just looked through the whole list
she also has a very good ability. I like, again, to filter through your deck like that, I think is very powerful.
Yes, and there are cards, and even just 100 cards we've seen that do interact with your discard pile, like Hades, and Part of Your World is another one. Also, Captain Hook, they Lady Tremaine as well. They can get cards out of your discard, so they're not lost forever. So even if it's ditched with Simba, you probably can get it back. So
now
it's crazy.
I'm curious to see if in the future sets you're gonna have some sort of recursion too.
Oh yeah.
Instead of going to your hand, they come onto the field, right? Like, I think that would be a cool little gimmick to add into some cards.
Duel Masters actually had that mechanic. Now it was only for ink, but you could play a character, or I think it was just a character, and you can take one of your discarded cards and you would put it into your resource zone. So
Oh, interesting.
You know,
That would be
it's
pretty
just,
neat.
you know,
Interesting too.
little bonus. So, you know, because we have
But
cards that take
squatting
off
into the
the deck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, you know, they're not gone forever. You're like, okay, well, I can at least use this for a resource or for an ink, you know, later in the game. So I don't know. I do think that we'll probably see some discard, you know, synergy with several cards. But I think simple.
Yeah, he's definitely, for me, I think he's a 4 of in most steel decks. I mean, I can't say all, but I think I would, if I'm playing steel, I'm gonna have 4 Simbas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he just helps. He just helps. Like he's a good 1-drop. I do like him. I think he's pretty good. I don't know if we'll see much else for 1-drops for steel because we already have Goons. We have this Simba and we have Captain Hook. Maybe one more because I think Amethyst has 4 1-drops. I bet we'll see like 4 1-drops per color. I really hope so. To kind of spread things out. It's the first set.
I hope we get an evasive steel type.
Evasive steel, yeah. Well, maybe it's Aladdin because there is the steel Aladdin little portrait.
Yeah, there is a steel Aladdin that's on the picture.
Maybe he's. I don't know. I still want a ruby Aladdin that's cheaper than, you know, the big one. I want like a 3 cost or something really bad. Like that's my number one. Well, board wipe, and then a cheaper cost ruby Aladdin. Even if it's
like
a generic,
7.
Something. It's just as long as I can shift into the ruby Aladdin, you know, later, and then that way I can run another color if I want to do that. I don't have to run like steel and ruby or emerald. Exact. Although emerald's pretty good, right? I wouldn't be upset. Genie is super good. And a super rare.
Peter Pan.
Yeah, you could be full of evasives too because you got Goofy, you got Tigger. You could run the 8-cost Mickey Mouse if you wanted to, but that's that's a legendary, but he's so hard to get out. I hardly ever see the Mickey Mouse. And that's it. That was Mike and Nicole joining me in one of my card of the day type videos where we discuss, you know, some of the cards. So big thanks for them for joining me. It means a lot. It was a lot of fun. We talked for probably about 2 hours. We talked for about 2 hours just about everything Disney Lorcana. And everything you just heard was just our segment where we just discussed those 4 cards. So I'll have a link to their channel down in the description. But if you like gameplay videos, you know, deck techs, they have like deck box reviews and whatnot. They do a lot of stuff. Their videos are also in person, you know, so they're not like digital. It's very cool videos. They also have multiplayer videos in addition to, you know, 1v1 videos as well. So. But hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You stay safe out there. Make good decisions. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.